What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another weekly update. And in this video, what I'd like to do is provide you guys some events, some earnings, some of a little bit of everything to get you prepared for the week ahead. If that sounds like something you're interested in, consider subscribing, as I do provide daily updates as well to get you prepared for the day and week ahead. So, being said, this has been a very interesting week. We've had mostly chop coming into this week, but we've had some really big moves, especially considering, technical wise. Monday we came in looking to retest that 20 EMA monthly. And then what ended up happening is Powell came out on Tuesday and he pretty much stated everything was still on the table. 75-point basis move was on the table, essentially saying that even potentially a 100-point basis move was on the table. They weren't taking anything off the table. He did say, however, that he liked where the market was currently sitting, that he thought the market priced in well what needed to be priced in. So considering that, before Tuesday, I was really looking at this level, thinking that we would reattempt to break this. And we sure did. Come Tuesday, we sold off from what he said because he was extremely hawkish, not taking anything off the table. We held well on Thursday, but was concerning that we couldn't break back above. Then, come Friday, we had a scare of uh, essentially monkeypox came out, and that was what drove the market in fear because of the fact that WHO came out and said they were doing an emergency meeting. So this drove the market beyond rates. This was purely moved beyond rates. Although otherwise, I think we could have pushed up and reattempted to test that 20, made a higher low. But again, new news drove us down. The nice thing is my concern was if we couldn't pull back above this 38.61 level before end of day, we would be in trouble. However, we managed to pull one of these crazy hat tricks out the last hour of the day and push back up over that critical level. Now, this level is 38.57 is a critical level, and I've been talking about these levels down here. Essentially, any part down in here is what I'm considering the reversal zone. So we are just waiting, in my opinion, for a reversal. Again, as long as nothing comes from the monkeypox thing, I think we should be fine. Again, there was no real fear there. It's pretty much just chicken pox. So that being said, the market is still very sensitive to information. So that's why we got this initial move. Because of that fact, they didn't want people to put people on lockdown. So that's what drove this fear here. But again, after we got some clarification, it just popped it right back up. So that being said, let me go ahead and pull up what we kind of got going on for the week here. Um, most earnings are pretty much winding down. Like I said, the two biggest ones we got this week are on NVIDIA for the chip side, and then cost. Chips have been taking a beating as far as earnings is concerned, forward guidance, but they've been rocketing back up. Biggest one for cost here is the fact that Walmart and Target have been hammered, essentially bringing down value, which was something else that came up this week. With Walmart and Targets, the inflation is taking a big chunk out of the revenue. And this is also something we talked about with Cassidy Woods' brought up, the fact that people, because of the pandemic, a lot of these companies have had to over order on supply, and then now find there's not enough people to buy right now. So now they got all this supply and not enough demand, and so that's what's kind of driving your companies like Tesla, or your companies like Target and Walmart to start coming crashing down because they have this overabundance of supply and not enough demand. So that could potentially be the problem here with cost. So cost to be on watch Thursday. But aside as other events, the biggest event, there is some inflation data coming out on Friday. In my opinion, again, that really doesn't matter at this point. What really matters is the FOMC minutes on why Powell considered to do a 50-point basis move, and that will kind of help us decipher if the next meeting, if there will be a 50-point basis move, a 75-point basis move. At some point, once inflation seems like it's like hit a peak and the numbers come down to the what the Fed wants to see, they'll stop being so hawkish, and they may not price in another 50-point basis move, what's expected for the next two meetings, or they may come in lower at 25-point basis move, or they may do something aside and not even do anything or take some stuff off the table. Right now, again, Powell has been very generic about what he's saying because it all depends on how the market interprets what's already been priced in, and supply and demand issues and stuff like that. So ultimately, this is going to bring a lot of volatility into the market come Wednesday. We could potentially sell back down to this level. It really just depends. So we have to see. As far as watch list, I've been playing a lot of the index. It's easier, in my opinion. Some of these other ones, I do have a lot of tech because of the fact tech will sell off pretty hard and make some huge moves in this volatility. That's why I like to keep these on track. Tesla, obviously, it's took a major hit on Friday, so I want to see how Tesla recovers from that coming into this week. Google is the same, took a heavy hit. For some reason, if we go to the upside, these things will swing up fast. Apple has broken critical support and has not really bounced back, which is a big thing to watch this week. Vago is another big one. Take a major hit and sunk down, and so looking for recovery and potentially bearish plays on those. So that's just something to keep in mind. So looking back at the chart for SPY, even though SPY has done this, one thing I've said is that value has been holding up the market a majority of the year, considering that tech has been taking a massive beating. Not to say that tech has rallied. Tech has had some huge rallies, but nonetheless, you're still looking at 80%, 75% off. A lot of these big tech leaders are over 50% haircuts on these big tech leaders. So being said, value is taking a massive haircut considering that they with their supply demand issues that they're currently having. And so the market didn't know what to do, and it continues to sell. So that's an extra added alternative. Plus the monkeypox is thrown in there. So you have a lot of these random events that are going to occur. So we are going to see if we continue to sell off. That's what I talked about when we hit this point. Would be that do or die. Do we sell off, or we keep going? Again, we got new news and we sold off. So critical point, where do we land come Monday is going to be massive. Do we continue to pump, or do we continue to play with this line? And we come back down and revisit this line, more than likely we're going to come back even lower, potentially down to these levels. Again, we have very solid support here down at the 36. I really think we're going to switch gears here. Again, at any point in this time, I think we could switch gears. So you definitely have to be mindful of the market sentiment during that day. What events are going on during that day. Again, we got the FOMC. So at some point, we're going to revisit this low, in my opinion. So if we do try to pop back to the 20, which could be a strong consideration for Monday, be very mindful that what comes out on Wednesday could sink us back down to this level, and vice versa. I mean, we could just play this tight range here, end up finding ourselves up here at 39.43 coming into Wednesday, and then get that news and sell us back down. Hopefully, again, not break that level. That's what we've been doing, is we've been kind of making these massive runs, and then some news comes out and we crash back down to that lower level, and then we just consolidate and then go on from that point. Again, we haven't had really solid news, so any kind of positive sentiment, whether that is hitting expectations or below expectations, when it comes to inflation or anything like that, is considered a positive sentiment, and that's why you're seeing these parabolic moves, because there's absolutely no positive. So people are trying to find some positive in the negative. So just keep that in mind. So when it doesn't make sense, just trying to look for the positive in the negative. Is it at expectations or below? Then that would be a positive thing, even though inflation is out of control. So just keep that in mind. That's the way the market is currently situated right now. So being said, we'll look over Bitcoin real quick. Bitcoin is still holding extremely well and consolidating, considering the markets. It hasn't moved as much. Again, the only reason it sold massive here is because of Luna. That drove fear about, I think, the whole crypto space in general. So that's why this dipped down as far as it did. Aside from that, it's been holding very well, in my opinion. Is this the new base? Is just really the question. If the market really needs a flip here for Bitcoin to start going back up. Again, there's still mass adoption. There was news about Spotify incorporating NFTs. Amazon's been talking about including NFTs. So that's all blockchain related stuff that's being built in the background. So, and you can't think that Bitcoin is just going to fall off the face of the planet. I know the Luna stuff was scary. That's why you had this massive move. It's going to happen. It doesn't matter. When events like that occur, you're going to get these. This fear is going to strike fast. So being said, that's where Bitcoin is. I still like it where it's at. As long as it stays around this area, we should be perfectly fine. Could be new base. Again, time will tell if this is the new base or not. So I'll get right into the other ones. Tesla is the other one I have. Obviously, this one I talk about all the time. Okay, again, big industry leader. It sold heavy. It broke a critical support here. So what I'm actually looking for on Monday, I think tech is still going to continue getting wrecked. I think we're going to retest this 700 come Monday. And then we'll probably get, again, another solid flush down here. Are we going to hit that 500 with Tesla? It's hard to say. I know Elon's been fighting about the safety protocols. So he's been public about it. So that's giving a negative sentiment. He also came out and said that 5% of his time would go to Twitter. People didn't like that as well. So being said, it'd be interesting to see where this lands. Again, that 50 EMA is at the 501 mark. And like I've always said, if we break a major support, you're going to retest it. We attempted a couple different times, and then you're going to revisit that 50 before a reversal. If not, it breaks below that. So it really depends on how close and how much time it's spent around that 50. So, but being said, again, I think we could drop a little bit lower. 600 the psychological level, 550 potentially, but nonetheless, that 50 is still sitting down there. So really watching this short side in the beginning of the week. Maybe we'll get some positive news or something, and then flip this thing back up. We'll definitely have to watch, but I am definitely short biased until we get some kind of positive sentiment in the market. So Tesla, it's not saying that I still don't believe that we'll get a reversal, because I still do believe that's in the pipe at some point. Apple is another one I got on here. Apple again broke major support. It tried to reattempt. You could probably potentially call this a reattempt. Friday on Apple on the 20 EMA. It got rejected. Typically, what you want to see is more of a pull away from the line and then reattempt to try to break it. And normally you get an even harder rejection off that. So that's what I'm kind of looking for here. Apple, same thing, short side, watching the 41.30 mark here. Looking for that reattempt on Monday, which we might get a little pop and then potentially sell off. So really watching that. Again, that would kind of make sense, because that kind of leads the index into staying in that range until Wednesday. So that's what I'm watching on Monday with Apple. Again, lower levels. Apple could sell off pretty heavy. So you definitely want to be careful with Apple to the long side until you get reversal confirmation back over the 20 is kind of the time you want to be buying. If you're short term, long term, great time to start buying Apple, in my opinion. It starts dropping in these lower 30s. But again, not financial advice, because it can still all go to zero. Google took a massive hit Friday, just like everything else. Again, looking for the same thing. You got a break, a strong pull away, looking for a strong test and rejection. So really watching that coming in on Tuesday again. It's got 112 points. Again, if tech really sells off, Google's the first one, and this was really the solid support here, sitting around the 2207, and it broke. So, and it's again that last minute candle try to help. So, if we try to run Monday and it stalls up here, or we come in on Monday and it's flat, I think that's your sign that you might get a small push and then dump again. So, watching that on Google. Vago is the other one I got. I don't bring this one up much, but it's made some massive moves. Again, same thing, just like everything else. When everything looks the same, again, there's a lot of fear in the market. So keep that in mind. This solid level at the 546 mark, really watching this. If it opens up again flat, looking for the short to drop this thing. Again, you want to watch the first 15 minutes or so and kind of determine the strength of that move. Normally, you want to give it at least 10 minutes because a lot of times you give it 10 minutes and it flips and starts pushing. And then that 200 daily is still sitting up at the 560. Could potentially even push that high and then wick back down and then just sell. So just be mindful of that. And the 20 EMA monthly is still way down here. So waiting for this, I think this could potentially come all the way down to the 475 if the market starts to really sell again. Again, looking at the index, it could still potentially sell another 100 points or so, given that we have the FOMC minutes coming up as well. So, being said, that's pretty much what I got. Again, if you made it this far, I appreciate you. Go ahead and drop the like button. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.